Hello, and welcome back to the city of Hintonburg. So a couple of weeks ago, we built this small waterfront development. I asked for your feedback and whether or not we should build a bridge to connect to these two spaces. And what I heard is that we should absolutely build a bridge to connect these spaces, so that'll be part of today's episode. I also received some input on these two schools, mainly that we should connect them with surfacing, which I absolutely agree with. It was also mentioned that I should delete our bike loop here and just have the path connecting straight into the road. And I should add a dog park to the community hub over here, as well as reduce some of the oak trees to improve visibility, which I think makes a ton of sense. I think these are all fantastic suggestions, so I'm going to be looking at ways to implement them in today's episode. And as I mentioned in the last episode, we're going to be building out Cedar Peak today to hopefully fix this labor shortage. So with that said, let's get to it. Okay, so first and foremost, we need to build a bridge to connect these two spaces. The only issue I'm having is that I can't build a pedestrian bridge here. I have to use the street. Because if I use the path and stretch this across, I get the fence line here, or like the existing fence on this quay wall stays just like that. So I don't think it'll do it over here, or it's gonna act weird because it's it's gonna act weird. But anyways, so kind of boring, but I have to build this bridge using just a regular pedestrian street. So I'm gonna do that right now. I think I'm gonna add a little bit of a slope to it. Maybe something like that, and then just meet it in the middle. So if that's 78.9 across, let's do 39, let's say a little bit less. Let's go right there, and then bring that in right there. Not exactly centered, but it's a bridge. And the next thing we need to build is a dog park over here in this park. So it looks like we have space for it already. I think I can squeeze it in right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and I don't mind this location, so I'm just gonna build it right there. Awesome. All right, cool. Okay, it was also suggested that I look at this bike loop here and consider just having it end into the road because it looks a little awkward. So I honestly don't mind it, but I completely understand the comment and how it does look a little weird. So let's go ahead and fix that right now. So I think we can just have this go right into the road here. I'm just gonna remove some of these trees so I can see what I'm doing. Turn anarchy on because I see it wants to delete homes. And just have it go right there. And then replant some of those trees. Cool. So one of the next things we're looking at is our waterfront, and specifically these oak trees on the roads. So it was mentioned that these would reduce visibility, which I 100% agree with. I'm just a huge fan of oak trees. So even so, I don't think I need to have them everywhere. So I may just go through like this and just delete maybe every other one on specific blocks. And then I might also find spaces where I can just remove them entirely. But I think for the most part, I'm just going to be kind of thinning these out a little bit. Okay, that is certainly looking a lot more reasonable and should help with visibility. I am going to keep these ones here in front of these apartments, and I'm going to keep these ones here as well. But yeah, overall, that was a great suggestion, and I think that looks a lot more reasonable. Okay, and for the last one, I'm going to correct this surfacing blunder I have created here between these two schools. So it was suggested that I connect the two assets with surfacing. I totally agree with that. Don't know why I didn't do it from the get-go. So I'm going to tear this down. I'm going to leave the assets where they are, but I'm going to remove the landscaping and the surfacing and start over. Okay, there we go. Connected those two with surfacing, added the grass surface back. Also drew in these like sand pit style things for play structures. Then added picnic tables throughout. Yeah, nothing too crazy, but definitely top tier suggestion. This needed to be connected first when I built it, but glad I got it done now and someone pointed that out. So appreciate it. All right, let's move on to the bulk of today's episode, which is going to be building out Cedar Peak. So in my last episode, I said that I wanted to build a like working class neighborhood here because we have a bit of a labor shortage going on. So there seems to be some terrain work that needs to be done. I don't want to flatten this area because I do want to have some sort of elevation change to some degree, but nothing too drastic. So I'm going to smoothen this out a little bit. And I also downloaded the Pittsburgh homes. I think they'll fit quite nicely over here. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead, smooth this area out, and then start building our roads. As far as a road layout, I'm pretty sure I want to use a grid. I'm going to use this road here to start it because it's a pretty decent chunk of straight road. I may also use sections down here. I'm trying to limit connectivity to the highway. I don't mind it as much on this waterfront road here, obviously. But yeah, a little challenging because there's a lot of stuff going on. So we'll see what we can come up with. Alrighty, so here is what we have for a road layout. As you can see, we have a couple of arterials running through here. Pretty loose grid. I wasn't really too strict in spots. I had a challenge with this here. Not quite sure what I'm going to be doing with this area here. Yeah, this one I'm not sold on just yet, but maybe when I place homes, it'll grow on me. But anyways, yeah, overall, I think I'm good with it. But yeah, I'll place homes and we'll go from there. All right, just quickly checking in. That's kind of it. I like the slope. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, I think that looks okay. Now, for these, I'm definitely going to have to come in with Anarchy and plant trees on the properties because it looks a little barren without trees here. So I'm going to have to do that, I believe, in some people's backyards. Just like so. And whether or not it's clipping fences, we'll live with that. But just to get an idea of what this could look like, we'll go ahead and plant some trees real quick and take a look. Okay, so the trees will be better. And for the front yards, we can probably get away with some of the flower bushes, maybe even some smaller-ish trees. Like that could fit potentially, so long as it's not on the sidewalk. But yeah, we'll come back to that later. For now, got to build more homes and get to city services in a second. So I'm actually going to try to add one more block right here. And it's just because I might be able to get away with commercial that is somewhat small enough to fit. So if I can build a road here, whatever, we'll go with that. Hate that. Try again. Okay, cool. I might be able to get some commercial in here. Okay, quickly recapping what we have here. So obviously a ton of houses using the Pittsburgh stuff, some commercial on these arterials, nothing too crazy. Using some of the waterfront, like vanilla NA stuff, and then using the Southwest stuff over here. Added some city services, fire over here, police over here. Don't need school coverage here. We have the urban high school and the urban elementary right here, and we have tons of capacity so far. So last thing I wanted to build here was the farmer's market, and we're gonna build it over here. So I think it'll squeeze in right here. I don't exactly know if I want to have it on that arterial, so I might place it right here off a side street. So I'll build said side street. Can I give this a roundabout? Maybe. And then can this go right here? Actually, this might be the location for it. Yeah, that's absolutely it. Okay, scratch that idea. So we're gonna delete that road, come back over here and build this here. Yeah, because this should absolutely be on the waterfront. Okay, awesome. Do I wish it was facing the other direction? Yes, but I'm not going to get hung up on that. This is how I made it work. I didn't want to have a road coming out really close to this intersection, and nor could I have the building off. I mean, maybe I could have, but this fitment I think works. And if it really drives me crazy, I can come back and fix it later. Okay, with all that building done, it is time to detail this space. And I have no idea how, but we still have a labor shortage, and I don't know why. Alright, so we got Big Town during that, and we're gonna get City Hall. Perfect. Alrighty, time to review what we've just built. So as you guys saw, I planted a lot of trees. I used Anarchy to plant them on properties and in backyards, etc. for all of these homes. Ran into a bit of an issue here with noise pollution. Tried to plant a colossal amount of trees on either side of this road to get rid of it. Even tried planting median trees on this road, but that is not solving the problem. So in a future episode, likely the next one, I'm going to be removing these two industrial buildings. Well, maybe not removing them, but just moving them elsewhere, because I do like these homes here. I don't really want to put commercial back here, but yeah, I think I'll just move those in the next episode. Okay, for this space here, I did talk about using green space or parks to fill in these blocks, but I figured it was probably better used as commercial, just given the area and the street it's on. So happy I made that decision. I think this looks pretty interesting and cool. Interesting and cool, good descriptors. Yeah, I think this is a better use of space. In behind, there's parking lots, some landscaping, nothing too crazy. But yeah, overall, I like this this build right here, or this part of it. Yeah, happy with how it turned out. I also added commercial on these two arterials right here. Thought that was a pretty good use of space. In behind, it just added parking in various spots you can see, and some landscaping, nothing too elaborate. And for our farmer's market, added some surfacing, some props, pathways with invisible networks, so these actually work, and just some trees and whatnot. But not convinced this will be the final layout of this. I may come back and change it, but I'm happy with it right now. And with that, that is the end of today's episode. Really hope you guys like the final result here. If you have any suggestions or tips, please let me know in the comments below, especially if I'm staring at something that should be fixed right now. So as always, really appreciate you guys watching, especially if you stick around to the very end of these things. Look forward to hearing your comments if you have any, and hope to see you in the next episode. Thanks. See ya.